Shalom family, it's your man Elijah. Thank you for joining me at Unsectarian Wisdom as usual. I am a wise, healthy, strong, protected, celestial being that is loved by the Most High Creator. What's up family? I got a little impromptu message for you. As a matter of fact, this message is late. I should have had this message out days, maybe even about a week or two ago. But I've been procrastinating, dealing with my own personal fleshly issues. But I should have been strong enough to have finished this teaching already. But it is what it is. And it'll be out in the next few days. Because I got receipts. But it's on my spirit to speak about it right now. To give y'all, I guess, a preview. Family, what I'm about to say will be very controversial in some eyes, especially in you Hebrew Israelites' eyes, and some of you Gentiles' eyes. This video, family, this video is more so directed towards my fellow Shemite brethren, my fellow Eber, children of Eber, my Ivrit, the lost tribes of Yisrael. But this message is also for the Gentiles, for the so-called whites, the so-called Asians, the so-called Hispanics and Latinos, the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Asians and Arabs. I think I already said Asian. This is for everybody who is not a melanated Shemite or child of Eber, Ivrit. Listen to my words, because the Exodus draws nigh. And when that Exodus comes, my people, the children of the Most High, the true priest and priestess of the Most High, a multitude will come along with the priest and priestess, because we were sent to the other nations to spread the word, to spread the truth. I'm not here to make friends, so if you want to click off and be mad and talk about this Negro, especially you camp Negroes, talking about I'm lying and I'm this and that, legally, I'm not here to make friends. The word isn't here to make friends. The word isn't here to keep family together. The word did not come to bring peace, but to separate. Who are my mother and my brothers and my sisters and my cousins and my uncles and my true friends but those who do the will of the Most High? Because if you're of the world, I don't care what you think. Even those who think they are the spirit, who think they really doing the right thing, but you really are the word, because you really straddling the line. You half-assing it. You lukewarm. I mean, don't get me wrong, we all fall short, especially in this flesh. But some of y'all are just stuck, real stuck. In this message I'm bringing, family, that's going to, look, some of y'all, it's going to hurt your feelings. But, as they say, don't add to, don't take away, right? Stick to the word, right? Tell you what the word says. We're going to stick to the word. We're not going to lie. Once again, though, before I get in it, don't believe nothing I say. You can lead your own self to hell. But, through your own due diligence, read line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. With all thy getting, get understanding. We're not going to play no games tonight. We're going to stay in the word. Because that's what you people like, right? You want the word. You don't want to go outside of the approved 66 books of the Gentile church, right? You don't want to go outside of them 66 books. So we're going to stay in them 66 books. But I don't have all the receipts for you tonight because I'm working on the lesson. But y'all intelligent enough to know what I'm talking about. I ain't talking to no ignorant people. But the fact of the matter is, family, my brethren, my sisters of all so-called races, and skin tones. Me speaking to you as a child of Eber, as a son of the Most High Creator, as a son of Eber, Ivrites, a son of the lost tribe. That is who I am. You can believe me or don't believe me. I don't care. I'm not here to be your friend like I said. I didn't say I was a prophet, but I know who I am. I know where my blood comes from. I know who I descend from. As a Hebrew family, true Hebrews, of the melanated kind, from the original tribes, I want you to know that you can, as a man, a Hebrew man, you as a Hebrew melanated priest or priestess, man or woman, I want you to know right now, you can mate with whoever you want, regardless of their skin tone, regardless of what nation they from. But there is a catch. People see, look, nowhere in the Bible, not one place, not one drop, not one tittle. You can't nobody call me a liar right now, because nobody gonna be able to show me this. There is nowhere in the word, not even outside of it, where it sits there and says, the Creator sits there and says, we're not gonna add to or take away. Nowhere does he say that a so-called black man or black woman cannot marry a so-called white man or woman, or so-called Asian man or woman, or so-called Asian or Hispanic man or woman, or so-called Arab man or woman, or so-called African man or woman. Nowhere in the word does it say because your skin tone is lighter than the Israelites, because as in the Song of Solomon, what does it say that Solomon's skin tone is? It is as black as the tents of Kedar. Nowhere in the word does it say specifically that you cannot marry someone because of the color of their skin. And when it mentions nations, family, it elaborates. What is the elaboration, may you ask? The elaboration is whoredom. And what is whoredom biblically? Whoredom biblically is the worship of foreign gods, different religions, different ways of life. What you need to understand, family, is when the Creator was creating a new nation, the Creator had to be harsh. Because the Creator didn't want any foreign beliefs seeping into the spirits and minds of the children who were to be the future priest and priestess who were to take the true word out to the nations. Yes, Yahushua, our King, came only at first to bring the word to the tribes. But our King came to bring the word to the tribes, so then the tribes could then take the word into the other nations. Because family, whether you believe it or not, skin tone does not tell who is a true Hebrew. Just because you, matter of fact, once again, let me say something I said before. Just because by blood you are from the bloodline of the tribes, just because by blood you are from Eber, you are Ivrites, does not mean that you are a Hebrew spiritually. A Hebrew spiritually is one who has crossed over from the physical to the spiritual, who walks with the Most High in spirit, not only in spirit but in truth and physical, in the way they act, in the way they live. Family, I tell you right now that because of all the mixing, some of your brothers and sisters are walking around in the bodies of Gentiles, because we are not this flesh, we are spirit before we are flesh. I want y'all to know that. I say that again. We are spirit before we are flesh. This flesh is going to die one day and it's not going to mean nothing, but your spirit lives on. Now, what I say right now, family, does not mean, and this is for them ignorant Negroes, for them ignorant Israelites, them ignorant priests and priestess who haven't truly accepted who they are, or haven't done enough research, or who are stuck in these camps, who are stuck in religion. That don't mean go out and just start getting married or mated willy-nilly with any so-called white guy or white girl or her Asian or Hispanic or Arab. That's not what that means. That's not what that means at all. And that goes for you too. You so-called Gentiles who are actually spiritually Hebrews, who are actually truly children of the Most High. And in your past lives, you were probably Hebrews or so-called children of Eber in a melanated body. But in this new life, you came to be in a so-called white body or Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Arab body. Because you had to bring the word to your people. You had to be the difference. And the ones I'm probably talking to are probably the outcasts of that family. You don't have a lot of friends. People always calling you weird. So-called flower child and all this. What I'm saying is, family, once again, just because I said a Israelite can marry who they want or who they please does not mean you just go marry anybody. Any old Negro, any old white person, any old Asian, Hispanic, Arab, Latino. Matter of fact, any old so-called dark-skinned melanated person, whether they African, from the tribes of Ham, or from the tribes of Shem. It don't mean you marry nobody, because it's not, the battle, the war, the struggle is not with flesh, but with the spirits. Listen. The truth is, if you truly understood what I'm saying, you would know that truly only a small number of the priests and priestess would marry or mate with someone of the other nations. Not to say that it wouldn't happen, because if you think I'm lying, look biblically. It happened all the time. But the system, the world lies to us and make it think that, oh, you about to destroy your race with race or nation mixing or whatever you want to call it. But when you look at the reality, most people of melanated color, and just most people of most nations, period, mate or marry with people that look like them. But I digress. Let me just break it down real quick. Let me get to the point. The point is, family, at the end of the day, and this goes back to Solomon. If you do the research with Solomon, Solomon married women of many different nations. And remember, was not Solomon blessed by the Most High? Was Solomon not favored by the Most High? Was Solomon not wise beyond his years? Was he not the wisest of them all? Even on his deathbed, even though he sinned, he was still favored by the Most High. But what did he do? He married women of many different nations. And what caused Solomon's fall? It wasn't because of the color of their skin. But let me put this out here first. The people in the Bible at the end of the day, look, I can't sit here and vouch for the Romans and the Greeks, but although I do believe personally they were melanated people too. They may have been a lighter skin, maybe. I don't believe. But let's just say that if the Greeks and the Romans were so-called white people. But you can even look at the Romans, you can even look at the Italians today. They don't look like so-called American or Scandinavian whites. I'm just saying that. And this ain't no hate against y'all. I'm just making a point. So-called white people, you listening, get out your feelings, stay here and listen. It's for you too. Or you can go ahead and leave. Like I said, if you know the truth, look, the word know the word. So don't be in your feelings. If you listening. Anyway. So-called Europeans then come on the scene into the New Testament. I'm talking about Old Testament time. So if you want to be honest, Old Testament time, everybody was melanated. All different shades of brown. From our dark chocolatey brothers and sisters to our light brights, to our red bones, to our yellow bones. As we call them, you know what I'm saying? Did I say red bone? Yeah, I said red bone, yes. All different colors of melanin. But they was melanated people. There was no so-called Europeans on the scene at the time. So when you sit here and say, the Bible says you can't marry people who so-called black can't marry so-called white, that's a lie. It don't say that. Because if you want to be really true about what the word says said that at the time the children in the land of Canaan, the Israelites in the land of Canaan, could not marry Canaanites. Canaanites who were who? Descendants of Ham. Who? Africans. But guess what? Whoa. Don't we all think we so-called Africans today? Don't we all claim that, we come from Nigeria. We come from Ghana. We are African. But the Bible says you can't marry the children of Ham, right? But not all the children of Ham. Matter of fact, even Abraham married, Zipporah? Was it Zipporah? No, was it? I can't remember her name. But after Sarai died, Abraham got remarried. Two or three more wives? And they were so-called children of Ham. But they were not Canaanites. One of them was, I think some of them were from Ishmael. Anyway, my point is, family, the Bible only spake against marrying the children of Canaan, and that was because the land was promised to the Israelites. If you go back to Joshua, there was a tribe that tricked the Israelites after they had knocked down the walls of Jericho. There's a tribe who had obviously heard of the great power of the one true so-called God or creator of Israel. And what they did is they put on tattered clothes and walked their butts out to the marching armies of the Israelites and tricked them into making a covenant with them so that the Israelites could not destroy them. Because they made a covenant with them before the Creator, they could not break that covenant because the Creator is not alive. But the Creator did not want them to make covenants specifically with the descendants of Canaan, because the Creator was to clear the entire land of Israel, to clear the entire land of Israel at that time. But because they made treaties with these people, they could not take these people's lives and take the whole land. So it caused a delay in taking all the land, and it left future enemies for Israel who they would have to war with later. This is why in the beginning the Most High was so harsh when he was saying, kill whoever doesn't honor the Sabbath on the Sabbath day. Because he was rebuilding a people under his laws. He could not have nobody coming in and filling their minds and spirits with foreign gods and foreign traditions, because the Creator was building up the Creator's traditions. This is what you got to understand. The Creator had to come down with the hammer first, because it was like kids who were raised under a different system, and now the Creator had to mold them to be under the Creator system. But those who did not want to be evolved, who did not want to be molded into the Creator's new system, had to go. That even goes back to Noah and the flood. Noah ministered the word for 100 years or more before the flood came and warned people, but they didn't want to listen. Not because they couldn't change, because they didn't want to change. So what did the Most High say? Look, these Negroes don't want to listen, so I'm going to have to send the flood in and destroy them. And that's what the Most High did. This is exactly why the Most High did not let the older generations enter into the promised land, because they would not change. As the word says, you cannot put new wine into an old wineskin. But I'm not going to let the world stop me from changing. And you shouldn't let the world stop you from changing. The world is our enemy. The beast system is our enemy. I'm talking to you, Israel. This ain't, look, like I said, once again, this ain't no free ticket to go marry who you want. This is, listen to me, be smart, be intelligent about this. If you listen all the way to what the word was saying, once again, back to Solomon, it wasn't the color of their skin. Once again, like I said, they was all melanated people anyway. So if you want to be honest, it's more so saying you shouldn't marry Africans. But a lot of our brothers and sisters is married to so-called Africans on top of all of us pretending like we African when that's not the truth. But let's keep going. The fact of the matter is, if you kept reading and really got true understanding, it had nothing to do with skin color. It had everything to do with belief, with a person's individual actions, with their mind. You cannot marry someone who is caught up in the beast system. Today, I'm telling you, you can marry who you want, whether it be so-called white, black, Asian, Hispanic, as long as their mind and spirit is not caught up in the beast system. If they look, that even go for so-called black people. That even go for the so-called children of Eber and Shem today, who are of melanated skin, who are caught up in getting the bag. You can't marry them. If you're a so-called Israelite or child of Eber or Ivory, or if you are Ivory or so-called Hebrew, you ain't got no business even marrying a so-called black person from America who is all up in this world, caught up in the beast system, chasing money and silver and gold, chasing fame. You ain't got no business marrying these Negroes, because they gonna lead your heart away from the most, especially you men. As men, our greatest mission is to stay away from worldly women, to not fall like our forefather Adam did. What the example is, look, men, our greatest treasure, our greatest desire is our women. So when our women say, a lot of times when our women say do something, what we gonna do? We gonna do it because we don't want to mess up. We don't want to mess up. Let's be honest, we don't mess up that Gucci. We so infatuated and full of love. That's what y'all don't understand. What I always say about this love word. What y'all don't realize, because y'all don't really understand what love. This true love today, it ain't nothing but lust and infatuation. That's all it is. Lust, infatuation, addiction. Ain't got no respect to it, ain't got no passion. You just trying to get your DICK wet. You just trying to open your legs. You just trying to get that ooh wee feeling. You just trying to get your boots knocked. But you're not worried about the future. You're not worried about responsibility that comes with procreation, with these type of relationships. If you're an Israelite, you can marry who you want as long as their spirit is in alignment with the Most High Creator's spirit, whether they white, black, Hispanic, or otherwise. You're not even supposed to marry a so-called black person if they are not in alignment with the word of the Most High. Family, I'm going to say this again. Look, the Most High has given us free will. You ain't got to do nothing you don't want to do. You ain't got to do nothing. I say it again. You don't have to do nothing you don't want to do. But if you are truly a follower of the Most High, you should want to celebrate the Sabbath. You should want to celebrate Passover. You should want to celebrate tabernacles. Every holy day that is in the Bible, you should be ready and willing and want to celebrate without nobody telling you. You shouldn't be excited about Christmas, Thanksgiving, none of these heathen days. You should be ready for the Bible. You should be studying on your own. And I'm talking to males and females. You should be in the Word. You should be watching how you dress, how you act, how you go about your life. And this goes for so-called Gentiles too. And matter of fact, for you Gentiles, for you so-called whites, Hispanics, Asians, if you want to marry an Israelites, if you want to marry someone outside the nation, this is how you know if you can marry them or not. And listen to me, Gentiles, look. If you want to marry someone, a Gentile, if you want to be part of the multitude who came with the 12 tribes into the desert at the time with Moses, do you know what you have to do? You have to be willing to give up, literally give up your people and your nations, and you must become a so-called Negro or a so-called ninja. You have to literally take on our skin tone. Obviously not physically, because it's not possible, but spiritually. Even if you look like the other nations, you must spiritually become us. You must become an outcast. Because I'm going to tell you right now, family, especially lately, I've noticed the hate for the true children of Israel is coming out like 90 going north. And I noticed that because, look, just because a few hoodlums and hood ratchets are out making bad examples of our people, most of the nations assume, oh, all y'all must be just like them ratchet old hood Negroes. When we all not like that. But we know what it is. Even so-called Africans don't like us. No, not all. I'm not talking about all. But a lot of y'all teach your children to not mess with so-called black. Look, let's be honest. You know what black is attributed to? It's attributed to so-called American blacks. American melanated people. If you go to Africa, if you go to South America, if you go to the Caribbean, the islands, the people who look like me or who are darker melanated, they don't call themselves black. Matter of fact, they get mad. They get an attitude. They only as of the few past years have they really, some of them started adapting the so-called black term, which you shouldn't, because we're not black. We got brown melanated skin. But who do they say? Oh, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. I'm not black, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm not black, I'm Brazilian. I'm not black, I'm Nigerian. I'm not black, I'm Ghanaian. I'm not black, I'm from South Africa. They despise that word black because that word is attributed to so-called black Americans and our so-called thuggish, hood radish ways. But that's not all of us. This is why I say we got to start using that term. But guess what? Once again, before I digress. Back to you Gentiles. If you truly want to be part of the tribes, if you truly want to be part of the multitude, if you truly want to be indoctrinated, because the word does say, before I say that, know that it's going to take 3 generations. 3 generations. But it starts with you. You got to make the choice. You must first leave your people. You must swear off the other nations. If you are so-called Scandinavian, but you truly, something inside of you, you feel like you in your past life, you was a Hebrew Israelite, that in your past life you was part of the 12 tribes, even though you feel like that's spiritually, but your flesh is so-called white, you must give up Scandinavia and you must follow the ways of the Hebrews. You must get on your knees. You must conform to the ways of Yisrael. You must become a so-called nigga. You must give up your family. I'm not telling you disrespect your family. Always honor your mother and father. Your mother and father. But know that when you really on this path, family, look, and honestly, the people I'm talking to, a lot of y'all probably not listening because a lot of y'all are really not on the path. Because you still, like I said, you skirting the line. You lukewarm. You still not letting everything go. When you really on this path seeking the truth, everybody going. Friends, family, everybody. Except for those who truly know the word. People start leaving. They start calling you crazy. You have to truly, and once again, to my Hebrew brothers, sisters, my melanin Hebrew, if you call yourself marrying a so-called Gentile, they better be ready to become a true Hebrew, which means they didn't let go of their family, they didn't let go of their old traditions. Matter of fact, they better be more dedicated to celebrating Passover and following the word than you. They better be reminding you. To my so-called melanated brothers, if you were a white girl, she better be willing and wanting to wear a head. Look, ladies, you don't have to wear a head cover. But this is what I'm saying. This is the difference between, like I said, you don't have to do nothing you don't want to. But when you really want to follow the Most High, when you truly have an urge and a thirst and hunger, you try to do everything you can to please the Spirit of the Most High, even if you don't have to. Like in the word in the New Testament, when Paul starts talking about when Paul speaks about in order to get free of the laws, you have to first become part of the law. You have to first be willing to do everything in the law before you become free of it. It has to become a part of you. So the Most High can trust you. So if you're a so-called Gentile and you want to be married to a melanated priest or priestess, you better get your act together. You better be studying that word. You better, honestly, in ways, know the word better than them. Not to sit there and act like you better than them. Not to be sitting there trying to correct them. But to be a support to them. To not be a hindrance to them like the wives of Solomon. But to be a good husband or to be a good wife unto that priest or priestess that you are married to. And once again, to my melanated people, if you married to someone in another nation, you better be, look, you should know better. They better be accepting this. You cannot marry someone who's still in the world, telling you it's all about money and always want you to go on vacations. All got you all up on social media, got you acting like a Babylonian. They don't know nothing about the word. They ain't you. See, you know what the issue is? You got Jake out here marrying all these worldly white women and Hispanic and Asian women who don't know nothing about the Most High, who don't care about the Most High, who just trying to live in the world. That's the problem. It's not that you can't marry them. It's the fact that you're marrying the wrong ones. Just because I said you can marry them don't mean you're going to marry anybody. And once again, that even go for so-called, and this goes for the priestess too. You shouldn't even be marrying so-called Babylonian minded freaking brainwashed black men and women either. All these men out here want to be gang bangers and thugs now. Women out there doing what they call it, hot girl summer. Want to be a feminist and all this BS. New Age feminism. You ain't supposed to be marrying them either because they don't got no respect for the Most High of the Word. Listen to what I'm saying. And once again, family, common sense. Yes, some of our brothers and sisters will marry outside of the nation, but the majority of us will stick to the nation because most people gravitate to who they look like. That's how you know the Most High in this. Where the Most High keeps our people, the majority of our people, together. I'm not lying about what I'm saying. What, you got Ruth, you got Esther, you got Rahab. Come on, family. Who else? There's more. Look, like I said, Solomon and all his wives, but didn't nobody say nothing. He was still the king of Israel. You got David. You know David had a bunch of hoes from different nations. Come on now. There's more. Hold on. I'm trying to think. Who else? Hold on. Okay, even in the Bible, where it talks about when they went in destroying other nations, and it had them exact them instructions on if you go into a nation and you find a beautiful woman of the nation that you defeated and you want to make her your wife, that she has to cut off all her hair and be able to mourn for 30 days for her dead family members, right? Remember that? So obviously it happened more than enough. More than we know, family. Once again, go back to the word and read about all the times the Israelites married different nations. It was considered whoredom not because of the color of their skin, but because of their actions. If an Israelite man or woman marries someone who's of the world, remember, what does the word say? Protect your heart. Protect your desires, because if your desire is for a worldly man or woman, they'll lead you away from the Most High with their heathenist beliefs and the way they carry themselves. Look at Samson and Delilah. Once again, another interracial relationship. The only problem with Delilah was she wasn't a believer in the Most High. She didn't follow the ways. So she didn't give up her people. She was loyal to her people, which is why she let them hide in the closet until she got away to get Samson to give up his weakness. Because her heart was still with her people. Gentiles, if you want to be a part of the multitude that goes into the wilderness, you have to give up your people. You have to give up your nation's ways. You have to be willing to conform. Just like a white woman or Hispanic woman who wants to convert to Islam, who marries an Arab person. Guess what do they tell you? They tell you got to convert straight up. That's the same for being an Israelite wife or Israelite husband. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. Matter of fact, remember Paul had a disciple whose mother was a Israelite, but her husband was a Greek. Matter of fact, the head builder on Solomon's temple, I think his name was Beelzebub something. Solomon, who the man that Solomon put as the head builder of the temple on the mount, the temple that David couldn't build because he had so much blood on his hand, his mother was an Israelite, but his father was a man of Tyre, who wasn't even an Israelite. So why would the Most High bless a half-breed to build the temple? Why would the Most High let Ruth be in the Bible, who was a daughter of Canaan? No, Ruth was a Moab. Never mind. But anyway, she was still of a different nation. You get what I'm saying? And Ruth was part of the bloodline of Yahushua. But that even proves my point more. It wasn't that you couldn't marry people from other nations. It was just at the time you couldn't marry Canaanites. And it wasn't even necessarily that you couldn't marry Canaanites. It's because the Canaanites did not believe in the Most High or live by the ways. But if it was a Canaanite who was straight up for the word of the Most High and living that life, I guarantee you the Most High would have accepted them. Because they would have forsaken the traditions of their forefathers. Because what does the Bible say? It says in the last days, the Gentiles will be like my fathers have inherited lies. So for you Gentiles, you have to be able to admit and understand, and not even just admit, but you truly need to understand who the true people of the word is. Don't just say it, but you need to know it and live it. You need to study to make yourself approved. You need to take off the eyes that this beast system has put on you, these lies. Take the veil off and be able to truly see who the children of the Most High are, so you can be accepted. But until you do then, you're not worthy to be part of the multitude. You're just going to keep coming back and back again to be cast out into gnashing of teeth. In other words, having to reincarnate and do this over and over again until you get it right. Even for a lot of you so-called black people, you 2/3, you're going to have to reincarnate too and be cast out into gnashing of teeth. It don't matter if you part of the blood of Abraham. Shoot, even John said that when the freaking Sadducees and Pharisees said, he said, who told you, brood of snake, to flee the coming condemnation of the Most High Creator? Do not say because I'm from the blood of Abraham I'm saved, but show that you are, but show by the way that you live that you are the true children of the Most High. It don't matter your blood. This flesh is here today, going tomorrow. It's your spirit. Family, once again, don't let the enemy get you mixed up and think that we about to destroy. Look, everything comes from melanin. They couldn't breed us out if they wanted to. So get off this, oh, no, they sleeping out. Nah, look, most of us is going to stick with people that look like us within the melanated tones of dark skin, as they say, dark chocolate, caramel, red bone, yellow bone. Most of us going to stick within our tribes, whether we know it or not, whether we realize it or not. Like robots, we going to attract each other like magnets. But there will be those who will marry outside of the tribe. And once again, for those Gentiles who want to be part of the multitude, who have put the work in before I've even had this, who know what I'm saying and want to continue, know that it will take 3 generations. So that means, look, even if it's a so-called white man and a white woman who want to join the tribes, you can join. But know that you have to raise your children as Israelites. Passover, circumcision. They need to be taught who people are. They need to learn to respect those people of melanin around them. I'm not talking about hood rats and what it look. At the end of the day, respect them too, but you stay away from them because they ain't no good. Matter of fact, even Hebrew Israelites who aren't hoodlums and hood rats need to stay away from the hoodlum and hood rat ones. Remember, our king comes to bring a sword of separation. And for all you people who want to message and talk about kumbaya, all us bring together, you wrong. You are wrong. It is not for us to be together. It is not for those who are truly followers of the Most High to come together with those who are the heathen, to those who don't want to follow the word. It ain't no kumbaya. They're going to be destroyed. I'm not telling you to go out there and kill them and cut them down and hate them and talk. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you to stay away from them. And if you can't stay away from them, you can be cordial, but don't be inviting them to your house. Don't be going out to the club with them. Don't be hanging out with them all the time. I'm not saying, look, you can talk to them, be cordial. But know that once the day comes to leave, it's time to separate, leave them behind. Look, if they don't want to come, they don't come. Leave them. I don't care if it's your family, your uncle, your cousin, and I'd even go for melanated people too. I don't care who it is. Who are my mother and my brother, my sister, my cousin, but those who do the will of the Most High. That's your family. That's your family. Israelites, look, I'm telling you, and some of our biggest enemies, matter of fact, our biggest enemies as Israelites or children of Eber, as bloodline, is our own people. People that look like us is our biggest enemies. People that look like us is our biggest enemies. Even more so than so-called whites and Hispanics, Asians, and Latinos. Even though, look, y'all doing a good job. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna lie. No offense, but a lot of you Hispanics and Latinos and Asians, man, y'all doing a better job than so-called whites with your racism right now. But it's okay, because y'all gonna get yours too. But to those who really believe in the Most High and the Word, welcome as the multitude. And after 3 generations, your bloodline will have been accepted into the 12 tribes. Because that's how it works. That's the Word. Look, like I said, stay in the Word. So please don't get offended. And if you do, whatever, you can leave. But if you want to know what to do, I'm telling you. And look, look, let me tell you something. And for all y'all who not melanated people, dark, who don't look like my people, getting offended, look, don't get offended. Because a lot of my people in the same boat as you. A lot of these worldly so-called Israelites trying to get the bag want to be trap stars and city girls. Look, they just as bad as you. So don't feel bad. You're not alone. Look, you got some of my people with you. But for those people who are truly people, those of us who are truly brothers and sisters, not by flesh, but truly by spirit, because we all want to please the Most High by our actions, not only by our word, lip service, but by our actions. When Passover come on, we up for it. We ain't celebrated none of these heathen holidays. And it's not about religion. It's not religion. It's a way of life, family. The holy days that we worship as true Hebrews are just to remind us of the Most High, to keep the Most High in our remembrance. It ain't got nothing to do with traditions. Unless you just want to be like, unless you want to call it the traditions of the Most High. But in reality, it's a way of life, family. It's not like church Sunday or Christmas. No, it's to help us. These holy days are to help us remember the Most High, to keep us on track. That's why every seventh day is our day of rest. It's to remind us of the Most High. Take what I'm saying, family. Like I said, for you camp people and all you want to be like he this and that. Look, you can't prove me wrong. You're not gonna be able to find one scripture that sits there and says a so-called black person can't marry a so-called white person. The so-called white wasn't even around during biblical times. It was only so-called black people. So unless you're gonna stop dating so-called black people, shut up and get out of my face. And you know I'm not wrong. Esau was a so-called red bone or yellow bone. Shoot, look, I got natural red hair. Well, red is brownish. I got hair over my body. I'm light skinned. But I love the Most High. Negro, you not going to call me Esau. I know I ain't no Esau. Because I go harder than a lot of you who got darker tone than me. And that ain't even no hate. That's just the truth. For all you who want to hate. But I ain't got no hate. Because as much, because I want to be honest, my own people, boy, y'all hate me. My own people, boy, dark, especially, matter of fact, especially light skin. Especially light skin, excuse my language, Negro. Boy, light skin Negroes hate me. I don't know. Boy, y'all, look, growing up, I would think, dang, you think at least a light bright? No. Most of my closest friends, I don't even want to say friends at this point because they proved they wasn't, but acquaintances have always been dark skinned brothers and sisters. But light skinned brothers, man, I'll tell you right now, they don't be messing with me at all. It's like, I don't know what it is. I see them hanging out, but it's just light skinned people. Just I don't know what it's almost, man, like. Excuse me, fam, but look, I ain't tripping about it. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure the Most High had it like that because the Most High don't want me to be close to nobody. But I'm glad because I ain't got no allegiance to no man or no woman, not even to my own mama. I ain't got no allegiance. Don't get me wrong. I respect my mother, and my mother been in my lane, and I appreciate my mother. But I don't have. But I'm ready to walk away from anybody. My mama, look, my mama ain't trying to lead me away from the Most High. So I'm not saying that. I'm just letting y'all know that anybody, I don't care who it is, if you try to lead me away from the Most High, we done. I don't care what color you are, what your relation is to me. Even if you my wife, you will not lead me away from the Most High. Most High give me the strength. Man, I got the hiccups. So I'm going to take that as a sign. It's time to stop talking. Because I'm pretty sure I didn't explain it enough. I'm pretty sure I didn't say what I need to say. But like I said, I'm going to give y'all the receipts as I work on this lesson that I'm doing. And I'm going to call it, I forget, but it's basically on interracial relationships, man. And how it's not against the word of the Most High. It's just about the person's belief system. If that person, look, once again, to my melanated brothers and sisters, my melanated priests and priestess, who are truly the descendants of the 12 tribes, you can marry outside of our so-called tribe, as long as that person has the heart of Ruth. As long as that person has the heart and spirit of Rahab. As long as they have those heart and spirits. As long as they are ready to fall in line behind the tribes. As long as they ready to do business. As a matter of fact, as long as they in the word more than you. As long as they remind you, baby, you know Passover coming. We better be getting ready. Baby, you know you an Israelite. You know you ain't supposed to be doing that. They should be telling you, you better put that bacon down. They should be telling you, remember in the word when Moses was going back to Egypt to free the people, and he as a Hebrew forgot to circumcise his own son, and the Most High was about to strike him down, and who came and saved him? An Ethiopian woman. A woman who wasn't even part of the 10 tribes listened to the Spirit of the Most High and circumcised her son and saved Moses from death. It wasn't him. And remember, he part of the tribe. But it was an outsider who reminded him of his duties to the Most High. So if you got you a so-called white man or white woman or Hispanic, Asian who is about that life, who's giving up the worldly part of them to join the spiritual part, to join the Hebrew spiritually and physically, hey, you good. They are not a foreigner in the temple. They are part of the Most High because they following it more than you. But family, they remember, once again, there ain't a lot of us. It's only 144,000. I don't mean literally 144. There's more than that. But know that it's a little number. So, and once again, this is for you Gentiles. I don't mean just because I say this, you go out and go chase you down an Israelite. Look, if you're a so-called white man or white woman, Hispanic, whatever, and you find another so-called white or Hispanic woman or Asian or whatever who is on that same path, who wants to become part of the 12 tribes, or as they say, what is it called, a proselyte, you know what I'm saying, who really wants your third generation of your seed to be inducted into the tribes, you could do that as well. But once again, y'all to be willing to follow the church. Look, y'all gotta be willing, probably really honestly, to take some insults. Y'all gotta be willing for Israelites probably at times to insult y'all. Be like, oh, you a white girl, you a Mexican, you this. Look, it is what it is. And honestly, those who are truly about it, we not gonna mess with you no way. But I'm talking about, you might go around them camp people at first, because this family, we don't always, when we in this path, we don't always hear the voice all the way. You might be a so-called white or Hispanic person, hear this message, and the first thing you do is want to go to a camp, go to one of these Israelite camps, and then they gonna have you in there kissing their boots and talking down to you, and you just gonna be so, oh, I'm so sorry for what my people do. No, that's not at all. Because when you go back to the Bible and it talks about slavery back in Israel time, does not say that the Most High holds accountable the master and how the master treats the slaves, because everybody is a servant of the Most High regardless. So how these Israelites in these camps treat you, they gonna be held accountable. As it says, turn the cheek. That's not me saying let somebody put their hands on you. I'm just letting you know that just because somebody did something to you, look, you still got 2 legs, 2 arms, you fine. If somebody come to you really trying to serve the Most High in genuine heart, and you gonna judge them just because they color your skin, Most High gonna get you, even if you got melanated skin. I'm just letting you know right now. And vice versa. Just because I tell you this and you a Gentile and you want to come in here and be puffed up, and just because your people in charge right now, you want to treat a Israelite wrong, Most High gonna get you too. So this go both ways. Ain't no use in being a Israelite or a Gentile believer if you gonna misuse the word, if you're not gonna do what you're supposed to be. Do what you're supposed to be doing. Anyway, family, I'm done. I just had to get it out. I had to get that out. Shoot. Anyway, family, so without further ado, I am a wise, healthy, strong, celestial being that is loved by the Most High Creator. Shalom, family. I enjoyed you. I hope you enjoyed me. I hope you got the message. Like I said, if you want to hate, look, even if you want to hate, leave a comment. Matter of fact, you could dislike the video if you want. It is what it is. I don't care. But I'll catch you later, family. Be blessed. Shalom.